Good day. Here are today's top stories from the Pna Headlines. We begin with some positive developments in the Middle East as the Philippines lowered its alert level in Israel to level 2 from the current level 3. The Foreign Affairs Department says the measure is effective immediately after noting an improved security situation in the Jewish state. The DFA adds it will closely monitor the situation in the region and will update the alert levels if needed. Alert level 2 or restriction phase is raised when there are threats to the life, security, and property of Filipinos arising from internal disturbance, instability, and external threats. Under this level, Filipinos are urged to restrict non-essential movements, avoid public places, and prepare for evacuation and stay in contact with the nearest Philippine embassy or consulate. Overseas Filipino workers or OFWs who have returned to the country and who still have overseas employment certificate and re-entry visa are now allowed to travel back to Israel. Pilgrims, tourists, newly hired workers, and other non-essential travels are still prohibited. According to the Department of Migrant Workers, there are approximately 30,000 OFWs in Israel, most of whom are caregivers and hotel workers. Moving on to other stories, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, says it is bent on delivering sustainable interventions against involuntary hunger through its Walang Gutom Program, or WGP. The WGP is the flagship program of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. against involuntary hunger, wherein food-poor families receive 3,000 pesos monthly in food credits by the DSWD. In a radio interview on Monday, DSWD Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao said the WGP is part of their commitment to addressing issues of poverty and hunger by offering not just an immediate response but also a long-term solution. Dumlao says they are working closely with partner agencies to strengthen the long-term impact of the WGP by helping beneficiaries become part of the economy through a whole-of-government scheme. These include collaboration with the Department of Labor and Employment in facilitating job fairs for beneficiaries and with the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, in terms of providing important skills training and short-term courses. Another essential feature of the WGP is the nutrition education component, which fosters healthy food practices among participants. Included in the monthly nutrition education sessions are classifying food into Go, Grow, and Glow categories and developing affordable menus for families. The DSWD targets to expand the beneficiaries of the WGP to 750,000 families by the year 2027. The Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, has extended assistance to a shipyard company to mitigate flooding in Barangay San Jose, Navotas City following the collapse of a river wall over the weekend. In a phone interview, Engineer William Zamorano of DPWH's Malabon Navotas District Engineering Office said they already provided sandbags and plywood as temporary barriers on the collapsed part of the wall inside the property of the private company. Zamoranos adds they will also make plans to construct a permanent structure made of steel and concrete cement. The collapsed wall and the high tide resulted in floods that submerged some roads in the city on Sunday. A 1.9-meter tide wall was also recorded on the same day, overwhelming parts of Navotas and neighboring Malabon. The Philippines has a new top diplomat. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. swore in today Maria Teresa Lazaro as the new chief of the Department of Foreign Affairs in Simple Rights in Malacanang. He also conferred on Lazaro the Order of Sikatuna with the rank of Datu in recognition of her contributions to Philippine foreign relations throughout her decades of service. Lazaro replaces Enrique Manalo, who is reappointed as the Philippine Permanent Representative to the United Nations. She recently served as DFA Undersecretary for Bilateral Relations and ASEAN Affairs. Lazaro also served as Manila's envoy to Switzerland and France, and held key assignments across Europe, the Americas, and the Asia-Pacific region. She also represented the Philippines at the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO. Lazaro leads the DFA as the country engages Asia and the rest of the world amid growing diplomatic challenges such as in the West Philippine Sea. Moving on to our news in the weather, do not forget your umbrellas as the trough of a low-pressure area and the southwest monsoon or habagat will dump rains over most parts of the country. State Weather Bureau Pag-asa says as of 8 a.m. today, the LPA being monitored inside the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR has a medium chance of developing into a tropical depression in the next 24 hours. However, the LPA's trough will cause scattered rains and thunderstorms over the Bicol region and the provinces of Isabela, Quirino, Aurora, and Quezon. These areas may experience moderate to heavy rains that could result in flash floods or landslides. Visayas, Metro Manila, Mimaropa, Zamboanga, Northern Mindanao, Caraga, and the rest of Central Luzon and Calabarzon can also expect scattered rains and thunderstorms due to the southwest monsoon. The rest of the country may experience isolated rain showers. With more rainy days ahead, the Department of Health reminds the public to take precautions against common illnesses associated with the rainy season. In a Bagong Pilipinas Ngayon interview over PTV4, DOH spokesperson Albert Domingo says the public should watch out for waterborne diseases like diarrhea, which can be caused by contaminated water. Domingo advised the public to boil drinking water for at least 2 minutes. To prevent the spread of influenza-like illnesses, he recommends frequent hand washing as well as home rest and isolation in case of symptoms such as cough, cold, fever, and body aches. Meanwhile, Domingo tells those who have waded through floods to consult their health centers and check for symptoms of leptospirosis. As for dengue, he said the public should maintain cleanliness in households and waterways to keep away dengue-carrying mosquitoes. In our business news, the Department of Health has expressed support for the reorganization of PhilHealth, saying this will help improve the delivery of universal health care in the country. In a Bagong Pilipinas Ngayon briefing, DOH spokesperson Albert Domingo says the revamp includes boosting PhilHealth's workforce and restructuring key functions such as processing of reimbursements. He said the DOH hopes to fast-track claims to relieve patients of out-of-pocket expenses. The overhaul will also open opportunities for long-time job order and contract of service workers to apply for regular positions, which will improve morale and service quality. The reorganization will be implemented in all PhilHealth offices nationwide and is expected to take about a year. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, assures the public that fishes caught in Taal Lake are safe for human consumption. This amid claims from a whistleblower that the bodies of missing sabongeros or cockfighting aficionados were thrown into the lake. Some local market vendors are experiencing lower sales of tawilis or freshwater sardines in the area due to the public scare. BFAR spokesperson Nazario Briguera says that tawilis in Taal Lake eat plankton and mostly stay at the upper level of the lake surface. He adds the increase in tawilis production is more likely due to fast reproduction and not the presence of the bodies. As for bangus and tilapia raised in Taal Lake, Briguera says these are fed with artificial feeds and raised in confined spaces like fish cages or fish pens. And those are the latest and the biggest stories from the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. I am William Theo. This is the Pna Headlines, bringing you stories that unite the nation.